Hi everybody, it's Jane Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, your criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. Today's question that I'm answering is, will I have to do jail time after a DUI conviction in Virginia? Well, the typical lawyer answer is, it depends. If you're convicted of DUI and your blood alcohol level is higher than 0.15 but lower than 0.20, you will have to do a mandatory minimum period of 5 days in jail. What does mandatory minimum period mean? That means you have to serve those 5 days straight. You can't do weekends, you can't do work release, you can't do home incarceration, you don't get any good time. Mandatory minimum means you serve all of that time. If your blood alcohol level was 0.20 or higher, then you have a mandatory minimum period of 10 days in jail. If you're convicted of a second offense within 5 years of first offense, there is a mandatory minimum of 20 days in jail. Now, all these mandatory minimums are consecutive, meaning if you are sentenced to a subsequent offense and have that mandatory time, you have to do that time in addition to any other mandatory time you are sentenced to. If you're convicted of a second offense within a 10-year period, you have to do a mandatory minimum of 10 days in jail. If you are convicted of a third offense within 5 years, there is a mandatory minimum term of incarceration of 6 months. If you are convicted of a third offense in 10 years, there's a mandatory 90 days in jail. If you are convicted of a fourth offense within 10 years, you have to do 1 year in prison. That is the mandatory minimum. Additionally, if you are transporting a minor, someone 17 years old or younger, there's an additional mandatory term of incarceration of at least 5 days. Now, that's the mandatory minimum time by the statute that you have to do in jail. You could also be sentenced to up to 12 months in jail if you are charged with a misdemeanor DUI. If you are charged with a felony DUI, you can be sentenced to several years in prison. If you have more questions about DUI convictions or jail time, you can check out my website. And again, if you have any suggestions for what I talk about in my next video, please let me know. And otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Bye.